You have prayed, you have written affirmations. You have waited and waited for the day when your financial life would finally change. And yet the waiting never. The bills arrive, the stress returns, and in your quiet moments you whisper, "Why does it feel like my manifestation is always just out of reach?" But let me ask you this. What if the delay was never about time? What if the problem was not that your blessing was far away, but that you have been holding it at a distance with your own words? What if there is a hidden law, a forgotten key, that could turn someday into today? The truth is simple yet startling. Your desire is not far off. It is not lost in the future. It is here now, waiting to be received, waiting to be multiplied the moment you touch it with the right words. So before we begin, let us set the tone together with 3 sacred affirmations. Speak them with me, twice each, and let them resonate in your spirit. I bless the money I hold, and it multiplies now. I bless the money I hold, and it multiplies now. I receive abundance in this very moment. I receive abundance in this very moment. I am aligned with wealth, and wealth is aligned with me. I am aligned with wealth, and wealth is aligned with me. In this teaching, I will reveal the divine law that makes money multiply when it is blessed, a secret that turns empty waiting into instant alignment. Before we continue, comment the words "I receive it now" below, and subscribe so you never miss these timeless teachings that awaken your spirit to abundance. Money cannot stay where it is cursed. It only multiplies where it is blessed. How many times have you opened your wallet, looked at the few notes inside, and felt a silent wave of frustration? How many times have you held money in your hand, not with gratitude, but with a hidden resentment, as though it is never enough, as though it always slips away too quickly? And here is the question no one dares to ask. If you resent the very thing you seek, why would it stay with you? You attract what you prepare for. How many nights have you sat in silence, asking why nothing has shifted? Why the dream you've been holding in your heart still feels so far away? The fear creeps in. Perhaps it is not meant for me. Perhaps it will never arrive. But the question is not whether your blessing is real. The question is, have you prepared for it? Can a guest enter a house where no room has been made ready? Can a harvest arrive where no ground has been tilled? The truth is piercing. You are not waiting for your dream. Your dream is waiting for you. And the moment you prepare, it appears. There is a divine law here, the law of preparation. It says that life gives increase to what you make room for. The harvest cannot come until the soil is ready. The marriage cannot arrive while the heart is closed. The abundance cannot flow where the wallet is cursed. Why do people block this law? Because they confuse wishing with preparing. They sit in longing, but never open the space. They pray for overflow, but cling to their clutter. They cry for new beginnings, but argue for old ending. To realign, you must act as though the thing is already here. Prepare as though the promise has been kept. Live as though the harvest is on the horizon. Your word is your wand, and your action is the proof. Repeat with me now, softly, with reverence. I prepare in faith, and life answers in kind. I prepare in faith, and life answers in kind. I make room for abundance, and abundance comes. I make room for abundance, and abundance comes. I set the table, and my blessings arrive. I set the table, and my blessings arrive. I release the old, and welcome the new. I release the old, and welcome the new. I prepare the ground, and the harvest is sure. I prepare the ground, and the harvest is sure. There was once a man who dreamed of a greater life. He spoke often of wealth, of opportunity, of a home filled with peace, yet his reality remained the same, crowded, empty, anxious. He prayed, but nothing moved. One day, a quiet voice within him said, "You speak of guests, but your table is bare. You speak of harvest, but your soil is untilled." He looked around and realized he had not prepared. He still carried bitterness, still clung to fear, still lived as though nothing new could arrive. That night he began small. He cleared a drawer, making room for the new. He gave away what he no longer needed. He blessed his home, and as he prepared, something shifted. Within weeks, opportunities came. Unexpected provision arrived. The outer matched the inner. He saw the truth. It was never that the blessing was late. It was that he had not prepared his hands to receive it. Now hear me, you attract what you prepare for. Do not wait until tomorrow. Prepare today, and life will fill the space. Lack isn't a condition, it's a conclusion. How many times have you said, "I can't afford it"? How many times have you looked at a bill and whispered, "There isn't an..." And in that moment, you felt powerless, small, trapped in lack. But here is the soul-stirring question. What if lack is not real? What if it is not a condition you are under, but a conclusion you have drawn? What if you have mistaken appearance for truth? The promise is this: lack is only real when you decide it is. And the moment you shift the conclusion, you shift the condition. The divine law at work here is the law of supply. It says that what you seek seeks you. Supply is infinite, the river is never dry, but people block it by drawing conclusions too quickly. They see an empty account and declare, "I am broke." They see a delay and declare, "It will never happen." They treat appearance as fact, forgetting that appearance is only the surface. Your word is your wand. If you declare lack, you draw lack. If you declare supply, you open the flood. To realign, refuse to conclude against yourself. When fear whispers, answer with truth. When appearances lie, speak what is unseen. Say these words with me, gently. Twice, I do not conclude lack, I declare supply. I do not conclude lack, I declare supply. I walk in the flow of abundance, always. I walk in the flow of abundance, always. Supply is here. Supply is now. Supply is here. Supply is now. My source is infinite. My channel is open. My source is infinite. My channel is open. Every appearance of lack dissolves before my faith. Every appearance of lack dissolves before my faith. A woman once lived in fear of bills. Each envelope that arrived felt like a verdict, each payment like a sentence. She would whisper, "I cannot keep up. There isn't enough." One evening, holding another bill, she felt a breaking inside. She asked herself, what if this is not lack, but an illusion? She placed her hand on the bill and spoke differently. "You are already paid. Supply meets you now." Something within her shifted. The bill was not her master. It was her opportunity to call on truth. Weeks later, an unexpected check arrived, covering the expense exactly. Again and again, she saw the same pattern. When she stopped concluding lack, supply appeared. She realized that lack had never been real. It was a conclusion she had drawn, and one she could refuse. Hear me closely. Lack is not a condition. It is a conclusion, and the moment you stop declaring it, it vanishes. Now let me pour this truth into you in a way that cuts through the noise. For many of you, life feels like an endless waiting room. You wait for abundance, for peace, for your chance. You ask, when will it be my turn? And here is the backstory. You have already been given the keys, but you have not used. You have been waiting for the outer to move, while the inner waits on you. The detail is simple. You have mistaken appearances for truth, clutter for preparation, delay for denial. The challenge is that you've let fear dictate your conclusion, and you've let doubt delay your preparation. But here comes the twist. Nothing is missing. Nothing is withheld. The shift is not in the bank, but in the belief. The impact will shake you awake. When you prepare, you attract. When you bless, you multiply. When you stop concluding lack, you start declaring supply. Life is not punishing you, it is mirroring you. And when your mirror changes, your world will follow. So listen again, softly but firmly. You attract what you prepare for. Lack isn't a condition, it's a conclusion. Prepare the ground, refuse the lie, bless the small, whisper truth, and watch as the harvest you thought was distant rises right before your eyes. The noise is not you. How many nights have you laid awake, hearing the voice of doubt echo louder than your own faith? How many mornings have you opened your eyes only to feel the weight of anxious thoughts before your feet even touched the floor? The noise of fear, the noise of worry, the noise of lack. It speaks so loudly, doesn't it? And yet here is the question. If the noise were really you, why would it feel so foreign, so heavy, so draining? Could it be that the very thoughts you've carried as your own were never your voice at all? The promise is this. The noise is not you. Beneath the static, there is a steady truth. Beneath the chaos, there is calm. Beneath the shouting of fear, there is a whisper of certainty that cannot be erased. There is a divine law here, the law of identification. Whatever you identify with, you become. If you identify with fear, you become fear. If you identify with truth, you become truth. Your word is your wand, and the word you choose to identify with carves your reality. Why do people block this law? Because they confuse the noise with their own identity. They hear the whispers of lack and assume it must be true. They hear the echoes of doubt and assume it must be them. But the noise is not you. It is only appearance. To realign, you must separate yourself from the noise. Do not own it. Do not call it yours. Instead, anchor yourself in the silent truth beneath it. I am supply. I am peace. I am aligned with the law of abundance. Repeat these affirmations with me softly and slowly twice. The noise is not me. I am peace. The noise is not me. I am peace. Fear is not my voice. Truth is my voice. Fear is not my voice. Truth is my voice. I rest in divine rhythm, untouched by confusion. I rest in divine rhythm, untouched by confusion. Every thought of lack dissolves before my true self. Every thought of lack dissolves before my true self. I identify only with supply, and supply identifies with me. I identify only with supply, and supply identifies with me. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young man who carried constant noise in his mind. Each day he woke to thoughts of fear. It will never work out. You will always struggle. Nothing will change. He believed these voices were his own, and so he obeyed them. He avoided opportunities. He accepted less than he was worth. He lived small because the noise told him smallness was all he could claim. One evening, after a long day of defeat, he sat in silence. And in that silence he heard something else. Not loud, not frantic, but steady, calm, unshakable. It whispered, "You are more than this. The noise is not you." For the first time he questioned the voices. He asked, if the noise was me, why does this other voice feel more like home? From that night forward, he chose the whisper over the noise, and step by step, his life aligned. The opportunities he once avoided came back. The worth he once doubted revealed itself. He had not changed who he was. He had remembered who he always had been. Now let me speak this truth into you in a way that reaches deeper than words. Many of you feel like you are drowning in noise. Noise from the past. Noise from mistakes. Noise from fear about tomorrow. And you've believed it was you. That is the backstory. Years of mistaking the static for your soul. The detail is this. The noise always comes from outside, never from within. The true self speaks in calm, never in chaos. The challenge is that the noise is persistent, loud, relentless. It tells you to shrink, to doubt, to quit. But here is the twist. The noise is not you. It never was. And the moment you refuse to identify with it, the moment you call it out as false, it begins to lose its grip. The impact is greater than you can imagine. When you stop living as the noise, you begin living as your truth. And when you live as truth, alignment happens without strain. Abundance flows, peace returns, opportunities arrive, not because you created them from noise, but because you removed the barrier to what was always yours. So hear me again, in the deepest way possible. The noise is not you. You are not fear. You are not lack. You are not failure. You are the calm beneath the storm, the truth beneath the static, the supply beneath the appearance. Choose today to identify not with the noise, but with the whisper, and you will see your world bend to the voice of truth that was always your own. Look closely at the life you are living. Notice the quiet desperation behind the surface, the moments when fear grips your heart and you tell yourself, "This is all I can have." That belief, that conclusion, has held you prisoner far longer than you realize. But here is the piercing truth. Abundance is not distant. Opportunity is not lost. The wealth, the peace, the fulfillment you have longed for is already here, waiting for your acknowledgement, waiting for your blessing, waiting for your word to call it forth. You have been speaking the wrong words, holding the wrong energy, and mistaking lack for reality. The moment you shift, the moment you bless instead of curse, the moment you speak instead of sigh, the moment you receive in faith instead of doubt, your world will respond. The universe does not argue with your desire. It only mirrors the vibration you are sending. Your words, your energy, your attention, these are the keys. Do not leave this moment empty. Do not allow another day to slip past while you remain in quiet resignation. Speak with clarity, bless with intention, align with the unseen flow that has always been waiting for you. Your financial freedom, your abundance, your breakthrough. It is not in the future, it is now. And here is your call to action. Declare it aloud, write it, speak it, share it. Comment below with the words that awaken your wealth. I receive it now. Subscribe, stay aligned, and step fully into the reality that has been yours all along. Your multiplication begins today.